if it don't be for Allah and us trying to imitate the Islamic process through the vision that we have of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we wouldn't be nowhere, because the smartest, the most well-endowed Negroes have been wiped out by this system. The biggest, most well-funded, well-trained, is because we have some understanding of the methodology they use, and we refuse to bite at their apple. That's why I was looking at that thing the other day, and it had when I was assaulted in Oakland, and I was telling the youngsters, no, we're not going to do that. And this is why, In fact, what I'd like to do is if we could get all of that stuff, including the meeting with our Natura Karti up in New York, was at the demonstration for Palestine, and the Jewish rabbis. Yeah, they said, oh, this is our friend. Well, we want that part in. We don't want the whole demonstration in there. But I'll get into more detail. We'll try to get back together Thursday. Thursday night, we'll wrap it up real quick. We'll maybe run out to IAC before, the clock stops. But anyway, we're in the implementation stage. I want to talk a little bit about what this looks like. Focus group is humanity, but the target group is going down. What do I mean? The target group for us will be university and high school level. So most of our lectures will be at universities and high school. And I noticed at the university, like they had Nicaragua and all those things in the 80s, South Africa, and I used to watch the students. If a student was getting a 4-year education, so the first 2 years they was in all these groups, free Nicaragua, free this. They was still in at a third, but on the 4th year they was getting resumes together, they was getting all that stuff together, and they wasn't, you didn't see them on the firing line too much. This was a pattern of students that when they're first there, they're for the right, and all of those, they're for the right. They're still like young people. And young people believe in justice. If you think I'm lying, you take your kids. If you sharing something, they're going to look in that glass and they're going to make sure that they're straight across. The same, you can't say, here, you take this here. And since you're a little smaller, no, we don't have none of that. They got it down pat. They believe in justice. You can't get away with nothing. I mean, they can, and they got an internal measuring thing that's way better than yours. No, they can see exactly. That's 1 millizillimeter off. He's got more in his. But how can you take my word for it, Dad? I got this. He's got more. Now you could take an eyedropper and take 1 drop out of that one and drop it in there, and that'll take care of it. Don't pour it because you overdo it. So take an eyedropper and get a little bit half full and drop it in mine. We'll be all right. Okay. So that's why, like right now, the heat is all that is on. When we had to school, my kids was at the school too, and I would say, somebody left that thing on all night last night, the heater. I mean, I would not this, but I would be telling them. See, we came down and we would turn the heat on around 8 o'clock. So when they get here at 8:30 or whatever, it would be warmed up downstairs. But every now and then somebody would leave the heat on. And so, see, it was a big heating bill because, see, they had the heating downstairs had to be on all the time. Because you can't be going on and off because they kids and they like heat, you know. They don't mind cold, but they don't want to study in cold. Anyway, uh, I would ask, I said, wonder who left that on. They would never mention it because kids have a little honor thing amongst them. I mean, they got tattletale kids, stool pigeons that go tell on each other. But generally, I'm the father. I got to pay all these bills. They don't say, poor dad. They say, this kid is a friend, is part of our age group, and I'm not telling who left what on or nothing else. I'm not going to say anything that'll be like snitching on a comrade. When they're young, they don't do it unless they just kind of every now and then, you know, Mama, he did this, Daddy did that. That's, but if it's something on that's real and I want you to, who did this? I don't know. They don't know nothing. That's an honor code. That's natural in kids. A kid can go out and come back home and he say, Mama, this is my friend. And they're like friends. They just met. But that age group, they could be friends for the rest of their life. But at that time, they are friends. They don't have to go through, well, who's your mama and who's your daddy? How much money they make? Right? Yeah. They just bond right away. Bam. I mean, and they you think they've been friends for 100 years or 5 years is old. No, what I'm saying is they don't think adults, and the older you get, that they keep some of that spirit alive. When they see it, they don't believe it. And it takes them, they'll run themselves crazy trying to think of everything but that. So the focus group is humanity, but the target group is youth. Our target group is going down in age. For instance, like if you look at the little girl, Greta Thunberg, she's getting older now. She must be about 17. But she's been doing that since she's 13 or 14. And she gets millions of kids out. You know why? It's important to them. They say, you dummies, you used up everything in the earth, and then you're leaving us. Imagine the old folks. They leaving their kids with $1 million bill for, not a million, way up their bill for education. And they're going to have to work for a zillion years to get rid of that thing, if they ever get rid of it. Because if you slow down for a minute or become unemployed, the interest is like the Reba jump back up and you be back, well, I paid, I got a $20,000 bill and I paid $10,000 on it. Yeah, but the interest, and you had a skip for 3 or 4 years, so now it's back to 20, it's up to 25,000 now. Good God Almighty. Okay, we're talking to them. See, because when people get dug into even in the movement, they used to, white kids would say, don't trust nobody over 30. All of a sudden, guess what? All of them was 30. I mean, it happened just like that. Bam! They in their 20s and they didn't struggle. They had a few marches and demonstrations, and they all 30. And they had that an age because you get tied into the system. See, the young people, their parents are paying all the bills, right? So they can afford to think like, they can dream, they can visualize a better world. The parents haven't got time because they got to pay bills. And now we have little financial things, but I feel sorry. I really feel sorry for modern people. Stuff they don't have nothing to do with. And this inflation over the last, I could see it. I could go right there in the Giant, and I'm telling you, simple things like margarine. Last year, it was $1, actually it's 99 cents. Because Giant have some good stuff like that. Because Giant used to be a semi-halal type. Well, Giant used to be a kosher type. Now it's not, but so it still carries a little bit of, if a person was going to have to eat in one of these Western stores, he would do better in Giant than like Safeway or other, because the foods it won't have as much. Anyway, shoot, man, I'm telling you, last year, margarine, reason I remember margarine, because I use margarine to cook in a lot. And they had a margarine there that was the same quality as that real expensive margarine. It's almost $3 a thing. So I cook in it. It gives the food a good flavor. It was 99 cents. Now it's $1.80 or 90 cents, almost double price. And everything else in the store is like that. Okay, that's not right. There's going to be the style of living in America has really degenerated over the last, I would say, starting in about 1980. 1980 was the last big year. I remember I had friends that worked at GM, California, and they made a little over $20 an hour then. It's 1980. That was almost 50 years. That's a long time ago. It's 40-something years ago. And now they're talking about a wage of $15 an hour. Now, here or down south, that might be a little money. But out in California, $15 an hour. The whole state is crushing, but prices are so high. And housing, I don't know, okay, I'll put it like this. Something has to happen in America. It can't continue like this. We have to get out in front, and we have to get out on the good side. The things that deal with prices, with climate, with air and water and all of that stuff, those have been on our mind all along. But the young people, everybody always wanted to fish with young people. I thought maybe young, little around that time. Almost the younger the better, because high school and college, because everybody else is too busy trying to eat. They're too busy trying to eat, and they're not, even if they hear you, they see you, they know it's right, they can't, they don't see, how do I get out of what I'm doing and help that? They don't see it. They don't, it's, okay. I'll be a little bit more detailed, but that's, the focus group is humanity, but the target group is the youth. Another thing about youth is they're optimistic. They can dream and they can visualize, and they can, you can touch, okay. I'd like for you to look up, not now, but whenever you get Project Mockingbird. And one is Operation Mockingbird.